Okay, 6 o'clock.
Ready, something?
Okay,
What do you guys want?
everybody has a few things come up right here for you. Here's the agenda for tonight. We are going to be talking department level budget tonight on the expense side and any capital requests. So we need to get started with Don Golden, the police department, and also dispatch, which is in 101-310. So let's start with the police department. And scanning through, I didn't see any major issues
Yeah,
here.
we have an extra book, I have old, I know they changed, if, no, I'll kind of wing it.
Okay, well, you can look at mine here,
Okay.
can't you?
I know some of the numbers have changed from what I have. All right,
Not much here, I don't think.
probably not, no, but I never want to miss something.
These are your basic operational dollars here. Looks like there would be a slight bump in salaries and wages, and to the tune of about 30,000, and that's probably just because of the raises that have occurred. The part-time salary is very similar from last year. You know, we're running down these various, and the hospitalization numbers are gonna go up slightly. According to Betsy, we're having a small increase relative to other people.
5%.
Yeah, 5% increase. And she also had some other questions, but basically, it looks like you're in very similar mode from last year. Wasn't requesting a whole lot. So, is there anything particularly that you want to talk about in the police department area in terms of operational dollars? Any of those training dollars, anything else?
Yeah, I just talked to Sergeant Danko today, who does our range, and he indicated that it may be beneficial to have about $2,000 more in, I believe Sonia wants it
And
in
that is
supplies and
dispatch?
no, this is police.
Okay.
I'm sorry, police.
Okay, supplies and materials.
Supplies
I
and
got that.
materials, about $2,000 more for ammunition. It's hard to come by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ammo is hard to come by, and last year we had to cancel a range because we couldn't get ammo fast enough, and we had it on about a 9-month advance order, so it took us over a year to get that ammo. I wanna stay ahead
Okay.
of the curve
So-
on that.
Last year, you had 5,000 starting the year. This year, he's got you at 5,000. Are you saying it needs to be higher than that?
I'm
or-
saying I'd like to have an additional $2,000.
Okay, I will make a notation here, the plus 2,000 requested in this area.
Do we have anything that shows where we're at year-to-date on this line item?
Yes,
Because we have, this is the budget.
yes, we do
the
have,
2014 actual.
you know, we do in the regular financial report. We don't have we do have the financial. Yes, right.
I'll work on it.
We have a by fund kind of breakout, but if you wanna go into the actual minutia, we have to go into
Well,
the
because
expenses.
it's line item on this one, because last year we had where we were at,
Yeah,
what
we
we
have-
spent, so I didn't know if we're getting that this
Yeah,
year.
well, what we've got at this point is the August 2014 financial report, which does show year-to-date expenses in each of the line items, and we can check that if we need to. Under supplies and materials, we are now, of course, in the October month, we have 101-210-5620. And at this point, yes, we're showing year-to-date is 446615, unexpended 53385. We do have an encumbrance of 31890, and so it would be, it's getting lower. So, you know, and you're saying specifically on this line item that you would like to have a plus 2,000 because of additional ammunition that
Yes.
you'd like to keep in reserve.
Yes.
Okay, noted. All right. Now, any other areas here?
On the operational side, no.
Okay.
Capital-wise, did you wanna go over that also?
Yeah, we will go over that. I just wanted to check also on dispatch
Okay,
here.
dispatch,
On the 310,
yeah, let me see what you have, because Scott was,
Here,
okay, we do have
I'll
it
give
right
you
here.
mine.
There we go.
Yeah, this number has since changed. I talked to Scott this morning. That he bumped back to this number, the 44.
Yeah. Okay, you wanted him to get the part-time back to 44,500?
Yes, he said he made that change already.
Right, I think he did.
He
I
did,
think he actually did.
yeah.
It says it here, Sylvia.
So
Yeah,
what
I
should
know.
it be?
Mine was part two
It
of
says
that.
44.5.
44,500.
Yeah.
So that is good right there.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. He would,
So you know what it changed
What's changing to what?
Well, if you look at this,
to.
101, 310,
Apps today.
101, 310, 55,
So we have
5115.
More
part-time
updates.
salary.
Yours, you should say 44,500.
Scott said none of these numbers changed, but they did.
Well, this is street. Oh, really?
No, no, you need to go there, right.
Yeah, Dave's got the correct number.
The previous,
This is the one we were given, we were
Yeah.
told there was no change.
Scott did,
Obviously,
he
there
did
were
make some
changes.
changes,
yes, there was a draft two
yeah.
to make those changes, that's
But he
correct.
said there were no changes in the,
Yeah.
that's why I asked for the draft. We
So-
were sent.
And I believe he made another change, and I don't, Dave has the current one.
Okay.
I
Yes.
don't know, yeah, I don't know, yours is not the change.
That's the
His
draft
is-
one, it's
yeah.
all right,
Okay.
because I'm just making notations.
Exactly. We'll go off of Dave's. Scott was having problems, yeah, with, his different numbers, so I don't know.
Well, no, he was just making an update, that's all,
Yeah,
okay.
it appears Dave has the latest
Correct.
version, and
Correct.
that's,
Yes, this is draft two,
Scott, yeah, Scott showed me version 2 upstairs, and I said, this works,
okay, then we're good then.
yeah.
Can we do the paper then, before we go further? Do we have 3 different versions?
No, there's,
There's this version, which
I had
doesn't
a
match
print-
this
I had a-
version, which
Dan, I
supposedly
had a
says Dave
print.
has something, but you don't.
No, this is, my version was given to me last
no,
night.
those are all from last night.
These are should be.
Mine is not from last night, okay?
So then you should not be using it, right?
Well, but there's minor changes, which he perfectly well knows. I'm not concerned about it, I'm just making notations. So
Well,
let's
no,
move-
because when we go to vote, we need
We're
to
not
vote on
voting.
one document, which should be this document,
Well-
not this one changed.
We're not voting tonight, we are going
But
to.
you're missing the point. You come to the floor with that one, it's wrong. Dave comes to the floor with this one, we're saying this one's right.
Correct.
And again, none of them are dated. We went through this last year, where every time we turn around, we had a reiteration,
Jan.
we need to date it. No, don't jan me, this is important, when you do your budget, when you go to pass it, you're gonna say, the version dated X.
I agree.
Well, then why don't we all just get the one that's in the book, that was passed out last night, dated last night, and that's the one we went through.
Fine.
Cause Scott sent me an email saying nothing had changed from the email to last night's document, and that's not true.
There were updates made last night, everybody has a copy of it, I have a copy of it, it was not in this book. There were minor changes, which I was aware of, so we're proceeding to look at this stuff, and we're producing a document which will be based on what you have in front of you. So let's,
Which one?
The book.
The
book
book or
that
the
you
one
book,
that you
the
have
book.
in your book?
The
The
book.
book, your
The
book.
book.
okay, now, let's moving along, so you don't have any other changes other than what Scott provided over.
I'm pretty sure Scott made the
Yeah.
changes that I
He
did,
did.
yes.
He did.
Yeah.
I was told he did.
Wait,
There was
okay,
a book
here.
here last night, Mr. Mayor.
Here's
I don't know
last
where the
night's.
book is.
What do you need to look
I
at?
thought this,
Dispatch
so
or-
let's leave this out.
Well, I thought
This
yours
is
was out
Dave's
here,
old.
actually.
That's,
This is Dave's that I brought.
right, that's the one.
When I made the left, I just made sure there was one for the council people, I didn't realize that, I don't.
Look at your numbers real quick then, that's the new one.
Okay,
Mayor, if you wanna come over, we can share.
yes, you could do that.
Look at the new one.
That's good.
I'd come over there, but then I'd have to move too far from the
I
top.
can make copies of anything too. if you
Okay.
guys need any copies.
That's-
So you have, you know, what we have here now
So you're gonna
is
say
an
44
updated
times?
copy, which you're working from,
Yes,
and you do not have any changes to that document.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so let's move then to the capital request.
You just need to look at it.
Yeah, we're gonna be working from the yellow pit, beginning, or we're working for things further in the back.
I'm going to work to any submission.
Hang on, I think, what is it, I think Scott was gonna bump the salaries line up further than that, if I'm not mistaken, because he didn't take into account that,
Okay,
Michelle was only paid half the year, so I think he was gonna go 330. I think the,
It was 35
Yeah.
on the sheet that we got.
no, I'm talking about the first, the salaries and wages did.
okay, tell me the line item you're
Okay,
speaking
the
of.
first line item, dispatch salaries and wages, first line item,
Yeah. The
three
last,
hundred and four thousand,
uh-huh,
right here on the top.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
This-
not right.
this
I
one
know
right
where
here.
it is right
Okay,
there.
all right. The first line, salaries and wages, I thought he was gonna bump that up to around 330,000, if I'm not mistaken.
This is what you provided
Here.
last night, 304, 850.
It
And that
was
what we were working
293,
Right.
it only bumped to 304.
from. That's correct. 304 is right
If you're
there.
saying it wasn't paid half the year, that's 9,000.
I'm thinking he had it around 330 the last I talked to him, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't think so, because this is what we were working from last night. So I would
What do
think
you
that
need
if
to
you
pay
want an
everybody?
additional one, I need to make a notation. That's all.
Please make a notation that we need to double check that. yes.
Okay, we will double check that number
Yes,
and make
please.
sure, okay? Good.
Okay.
What do you think it should be?
He had said 330.
Yeah, I think it was 330, I think, yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to double check, because he was taking notes.
Okay,
Um,
we will do
He
that.
looked at the spreadsheet that showed the salaries,
Mm-hmm,
and it was about $2,000 per pay, and she was only here half a year, so.
yes, right.
Yeah,
Right.
13 pays at about $2,000.
So you were saying that they needed to bump that because of the additional dispatch.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
and that was for a full year
Yeah,
this year?
we'll just have to look at that number.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I haven't checked the number.
yeah. Okay.
So, with that, let's go back to the back. Now, you apparently have asked for a police car,
Yes.
and that was the primary thing that I understood you had been asking for.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you've been asking for?
One,
Um,
2, or 3? I
who
never
knows?
used to come in with just
Who
one,
knows?
so that's why I'm gonna ask that question.
Who knows? We have,
Who knows?
we have the,
In the past, we have done
yeah,
one
we
more.
have the cars on lease.
Not a joke, it's true.
That's,
Yes, there
Yeah,
are cars on
right,
lease,
that's
they're
already on
leased to
lease.
purchase,
Yes.
right?
we need, what we did is we added the canine this year,
Uh-huh, I know.
and we took that car, it's a canine car, so they put a cage in the back for the
Right.
dog and all these other,
I understand.
so that car came out of the fleet, we wanna add a car to replace that one as.
It
we've
is not a
done.
canine car.
Exactly, it's just a normal patrol car, and what that
Okay.
will do for
Okay,
us
okay,
is that will give us 2 men per car,
right.
which is ideal. Scott and I both agree that if we don't have 2 guys per car, it's gonna run the cars down a lot faster. You know, you're talking about running cars 24/7 for 2,
Okay.
3, 4 days at a crack,
I get it.
and then you get nothing out of your car, so
So-
that was the idea behind that.
So, this, X amount?
$40,000.
$40,000 to get this car, and, are we going, we of course did lease to purchase last time.
Yes, that's,
The whole ball.
I'm sorry,
We did lease to purchase,
Yes.
so this.
again, yes.
Yeah, again, so if we're talking that, we're not talking 40,000 in one chunk, we're talking over a period. correct?
Scott had asked me for a figure for the cost. It appears that he was gonna buy this one.
Okay,
That's why I'm assuming he asked me for a round figure, fully equipped.
okay.
If he wanted to lease it,
Well, that's a detail, we don't need to
Well,
worry
if you
about.
lease it,
right
you
this
still
second.
gotta budget the entire amount for the year for the lease, so.
which won't be as much.
No, it
it's
wouldn't be.
Still gonna be
Exactly,
more than a
right,
grand.
It'll be additional funds, but it won't be the,
So,
But
so,
you would-
so on this yellow one, where's, it's not on here.
well, I know, he
Yeah.
has,
I'm looking. Oh, gosh, well, you know what, we were worried about the,
okay, so your thought is this, that you want to see if we can afford that car. Where do you put that in the level of priority?
I think I'm asking
This is
for.
number one.
That's my number
Well,
one.
that's your number one, your only thing you're asking for?
Yeah, that's, I believe that's it.
Just the ammunition once it's stored.
Well, that's
Trunk up.
operating, yeah. So,
The ammunition is not capital, you know. we-
that's all I'm asking for now,
Operational.
so
Okay,
we'll name it number one.
okay, so you're naming it one and only, okay?
Yes.
All right, so any other issues that you want to address?
Can't think of any.
Okay, well, anybody have any questions for him that they'd like to have addressed?
No additional staff, no additional,
Either one of us. wanna bring this
Is it
up.
building or something?
It could be mine.
Well, I'm gonna bring this up, Jim mentioned it, we're talking about, we mentioned this last year about replacing the swipe card system throughout City
Yeah,
Hall,
I know you did.
and the cameras that we have in City Hall are old as the hills, and,
Uh-huh.
The
we
security
just, yeah,
system?
you got the quote I sent you?
Yes,
We got a
it's
quote on
right
that.
in here,
Yeah, Jim's got
19,000.
19,000, Jim's got the quote for it. You wanna take it out of police, you wanna take it out of service, you wanna take it out of, wherever.
How much is it?
$19,800. It
That's a-
upgrades the
There's a
computer.
security in here for 49.8.
Right.
That's the scope. We had three. It went from 49 to 46 to this guy could.
We had 3 different bids,
Okay.
bids.
So he put the higher number in here, is that basically it?
No, I went with the smaller one because
Okay.
after sitting down with Mike,
Uh-huh.
we found that he's got a real good package. He
Okay.
updates our computer system, all new cameras, and his swipe system included is $19,800.
Okay.
Everybody else wanted to do,
yeah, they
They
want.
wanted to make
What
a
would your
complete swipe.
asking price be?
Pardon?
Instead of 49.8?
19,800.
It sounds like that we're going with a lower number bid,
Yes.
and the number is, you wanna?
$19,698 is the total.
Okay, so we're gonna put 20,000 down.
Mhm.
That's all for security, that's it, 20, not 49?
No, it's actually less, because he's found.
So less, it's
Yeah,
it's 20 grand, not
the
49.
49, when they were gonna do it, they were gonna make this Fort Knox, I mean, they were
Where was this
replacing
coming out of,
everything.
which capital?
Okay, look towards,
We don't
it's
need
3
to.
from the bottom there, Rita.
Okay.
Is this the
Oh,
whole
I
thing
see.
and
On page
themselves,
No,
or
it's
the
just,
jail,
it's
or
just
On the
to
capital
replace the
page.
swipe card system that's running off of Windows 98.
Got it?
Yep.
We marked that
And
to
it's,
20
I don't know
now.
how many cameras that
Yeah,
are replacing.
he's
the
got quite a
cameras.
few, yeah.
And they're located where? Is that the halls and
They're
outside?
located
or-
outside, inside.
I just, you know what, I'm having a flashback to last night, he put all the, remember, he put all the wish lists on.
23 dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This includes
30
replacing the cameras and the
The
software.
cameras, the
and
cameras
all
that he's gonna put in, you'll be able to read the license plate at Sears.
So it's all
Everything
the
is
outside.
progressed.
What about inside, are we okay?
I think that replaces some of them inside. We have 36 cameras, various locations. I didn't get the chance to.
According to this, he's replacing all that
Okay.
cameras, inside and outside.
Okay.
I shut that up to Jim.
But you put it in your request originally, correct?
Yeah, it's actually what
It's a
me and
joint
Mike, were- I
Okay.
mean, me and John were working on.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
didn't know if
that,
he wanted to
that
bring it up.
actually reduces the capital request by almost $30,000, so that's a good thing, because there's many other capital requests. So if that is it for you, John, we appreciate your being here, and if nobody has any other questions, we're going to move along to the fire department.
Thank you.
See you, John.
Thank you.
Okay,
No, thank you.
all right, hiya, Tim.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna look at the basics with the fire department here. Consolidated and friendly here.
I have the one that Scott emailed out.
Yes, that's fine, go for it,
Right.
go for it.
Really, it's unremarkable. He actually lowered our salary and wages down after he paid this year,
Okay,
based on this year. So we did have conversation. I did meet with him.
okay,
We are hiring no full-timers. And we're gonna hire three part-timers,
I see,
which we're hoping will bring down any overtime. What
I
really
see.
hurt us this year was the 30 hours, keeping our part-timers at 30 hours. We
okay,
came up with a spreadsheet that, because we didn't want to just say you can only work 30 hours a week, because then this next week, they might not work at all. So we came up with a sheet, and they actually pop red when they go over the 30 hours a week. And then the next week, they have to cut it back to turn it green again. So
Okay.
we worked them as much as we possibly could, and then filled in with overtime. And we put 3 people on, and we're putting 3 more part-timers on. So we're trying to
You're
address
basically-
that. It takes time
Okay.
to put them through the testing. So we want to hire 3 more in the spring,
okay,
and then that'll help us out.
okay, so that'll reduce your overtime demands, you believe?
Yeah, we're hoping.
Yeah, okay.
With the part-timers, the thing is when the part-timers were cut back to the 30 hours, we were stuck, because they wanted to work, they were willing to work, but we had to tell them, no, you're at your 30
Right, because of the
hours."
Affordable Care Act
Yes,
issues,
absolutely.
right?
So-
So rehires for part-time.
Yeah, we're gonna hire three part-timers. And
So So
that's,
the overtime budget is sitting at a 110 number that you have here.
yeah, Scott did that. He took it up to 110. I told him we were looking at the 3 part-timers, and he said, yeah, that's not a big deal. So,
Yeah, because that's an adjustment.
yeah, that's an adjustment next year,
So
so
the
I'm hoping
part-timers-
to not go to that. So.
Right,
Oh,
well,
wait, your part-timer salary on this sheet went down, so if you're
It
adding
did.
3, it went down by 15, but the overtime goes up, and it wouldn't be overtime, then wouldn't it be?
We're hoping it not to be over.
Well,
Well,
if we
shouldn't it
hire
be
3.
included in the part-time salaries?
we could make the.
He said he
adjustment.
could do that, Scott said absolutely, he said that would be great, and we could certainly move that money, but that's something that we can do next year.
Okay, we'll make a
But why
notation.
wouldn't we put it in now
We
to
could-
say we're gonna hire, and that makes the commitment to hire the 3, increase the part-time salaries and reduce the overtime?
We could.
We can certainly do that. We're gonna make adjustments in the budget anyway, so we can, well, I'm gonna make a notation here that you wanna move, basically, you wanna move.
I don't, I'm fine with the way it is, I mean, we can make adjustments, it's not that big of a deal, but
Okay.
But
or
what-
we can do it now.
No, it is, you can't hire until the money's in there.
Well, we have 285. in
Yes,
there,
they have money, yes.
So, and
But
like I
it
say,
went
this
down
was
from-
based off of 14 actuals.
It
Okay.
went down from
Which
this
Scott
year,
had.
so you know.
Pardon?
It went down from this year, it used to be
Yeah,
300.
well,
It was 300, yes.
So-
So we could make that change.
we can
I have
make
no
the
problem with
change.
that
I'll
change.
plus it up again,
Yeah.
okay?
You
You're gonna
wanted to
plus
go
it
to
to 3?
295 and drop the overtime to 100, that would be
Yeah,
absolutely
that'd be
fine with
fine.
me. That might
Okay.
be closer.
That'd be closer.
So everything
all right.
really is unremarkable. Our medical
Uh-huh.
supplies, I kicked up from 9,000. The hospital is supplying less and less, imagine that.
Okay.
A lot of our medical supplies, a lot of our
Great.
more expensive stuff is going, rather than being cleaned, is becoming disposable, it's expensive.
Right.
So I kicked that up. And then supplies and materials, obviously we kicked that up for the same reasons.
Right.
A lot of stuff's
Yeah,
going
it's significantly
disposable
up,
with
yes,
everything
right,
out there.
right.
That's really about it. As far as any major changes, I have capital equipment, we have some fire hose that we have to replace. We're
Okay.
borrowing a trailer from the service department now that they come take for our Rhino. Our Rhino was donated by Specialty Lubricants like 3 years ago. And
Yes, I remember that.
We've never been able to haul it anywhere because we don't have a trailer, so I'd like to be able to get a trailer for that.
Okay.
Specifically for that, give the
That's
service
capital
department their
equipment.
trailer back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in our budget, because it's
Okay.
not a huge, it's not like huge.
Yeah, it's like a
money.
huge
Yeah.
cost or anything.
Yeah,
So
and
is
fire
it capital
hose and our
request, or
standard.
is that just regular?
I'm sorry, no, it's not capital.
So it's within your supplies?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be regular general.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
Going to levy, unremarkable, you know, what the levy brings in, Scott splits that up between
Okay.
the 3 full-timers that were marked and hired from the levy.
Okay.
So that is really unremarkable from any time in the past.
Okay,
And then our fare.
yeah, the
we
fair
actually-
funds,
Yeah, we actually dropped down in
where you at?
capital expenses, that would be 221.
Yeah. 221,
We dropped down from 54 to 38
okay,
overall. We're going to attempt to purchase a new trailer, and we're going to attempt to purchase it with Northwood Village and Northwood Center Fire District. We're hoping that since we all share the school district, that it would only make sense. We use it now for joint things, but if we all go in, it's the same trailer going to Lee Eaton as Ledgeview, as Rushwood, and we're not offering different programs for the same school system. So I'm hoping that that's gonna be palatable, and I'm gonna be working with those chiefs to do that. We don't need any money to replace that, but the following year, hoping next year to get it together, to get them to buy into it, it's gonna be maybe 35,000 per department.
okay.
But that's yet to be done, so.
But you're comfortable with what you've got here?
Yeah.
and-
Oh, yeah.
No problem,
Yeah,
okay.
like I say, I met with Scott, and we went over the stuff, and I'm comfortable, so.
All right, well, that's terrific. Any other things that you wanna speak to in terms of the,
No, capital improvements already been met.
Yes, it has.
We were very lucky to get very lucky on grants this year. We're up on 4 or 5 different grants. Our turnout gear, you guys all saw that,
right?
was all here.
Yeah, it was great. Very impressive stuff
Yeah, all of
there.
our turnout gear, we got that, we were gonna do that, was a 3-year purchase. We were able to buy everything with half the money and return money back to the general fund. We were ecstatic about that. Our
Okay.
turnout gear, we're gonna be able to purchase all of our turnout gear, which the money you guys already gave us. Over half of that will be grant money that we'll get back
Yes.
from the federal government. And that'll handle all of our turnout gear. So really, we have no capital projects for next year. The only thing I would like to do is be able to purchase a squad. It takes like 8 months to build one. I'd like to purchase a squad this year in June, but we can talk about that next year because it wouldn't be paid for until 16.
Right, well,
So
yeah,
there's no
that's,
reason to
that's
discuss
in the
that now.
16
There's nothing
budget,
in this budget that would, you know,
would be affected by
that
that.
would do that. So I thank you for the money that we got for our turnout gear and.
No,
I
that's
will-
that's very interesting. Were, any other areas where you're taking an initiative with the other fire districts and departments that we need to look at, or?
Well, you know, I'm hoping to be able to, we've been going for grants for the last 3 years to buy an aerial tower, new truck. And I've approached the other chiefs and they said that they're not very positive about giving us, and I keep saying, you're not giving us $300,000. We're sharing in a piece of equipment that you guys need and the village needs. The village is under the impression that the new hotel that's gonna go in is gonna buy them a tower. Okay, so they're like, no, we don't want nothing, the casino's gonna
Really?
buy us a tower. I don't see that happening. But the thing is, they might buy the first tower, but in so long, it's gonna be out of service, so, 25 years, ours is so,
So you're still working with them?
I'm still hoping they'll do that, but
Let
right
me-
now, the fire chiefs are going, absolutely not, are we willing to go in with Macedonia to buy an aerial truck?
And when is the hotel supposed to be ready?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the other thing, you know.
Let me-
Well, that's what they're looking forward to. That's their plan, is to get an aerial tower from the casino to build the hotel.
Is our tower still okay?
Well, we just put about $20,000 into it. It is 25 years old.
Wow.
So I have it, we've done stuff like take it out of front line, that it doesn't roll front line out unless it's a confirmed fire, to try to, for lack of a better term, milk it. Get as much as we can. So we're not taking it on anything that's not a confirmed fire, so it doesn't run out on that stuff. So we're doing stuff to extend its life, and not next year, but in 16, I would like to place an order to take it, to take delivery in 17. We are doing everything we can to write grants, and the grants are joint with the other departments.
Yeah, that's
They've allowed
good.
us to write the grants that the truck
So
will
they're
be
supporting
used.
that far?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so we're basically doing that, because of course, they say, geez, the federal government's gonna buy us a truck, we'll take it.
Well,
Okay, but
obviously,
we're not
now,
willing to,
would they be, if they, let's take a hypothetical. If the tower were somehow purchased by the casino and housed, I'm assuming they can house it in Northfield Village, right, or not?
well, there's no room for it, they would have to
Or
add on.
they'd have to do something, or they'd have to park it over here with us, one of the two.
Right.
If,
I don't think they would be willing to do that, but okay.
okay,
It's
so,
way hypothetical.
They were gonna remodel anyhow, so.
they
Right.
may
They're
or
a
may
new
not.
station, they have a brand new
Right.
station.
That's right.
Yeah, so if they do, and, the number of fires that we have is relatively small compared to the other units
I
that we
already
have.
thought of that, us taking ours out of service and them
Mhm.
offering them
Yeah.
to us. As far as ISO, I would hope that,
Yeah.
that would cover us, because they have a 5-mile radius that they're able to
Okay.
extend a tower out. I would hope that they would extend the same courtesy that we've extended them, and
Sure.
anytime the tower call us, we'll bring it.
Right.
Okay? So
Right.
we've extended that, but that's yet to be determined.
Well,
I would
that's
hope
something-
they
Would that
would say,
impact our ISO because it's not in our, would that impact our rating
Oh,
because it's not
absolutely,
housed here
hugely.
anymore, so.
No, it's 5 miles, as long as they're initially called. They have to be called on first alarm, they have to be notified on first alarm. We can't get there and go, yeah, the building's on fire, call them. That's considered mutual aid, it would have to be automatic aid, which is what we have now.
Yeah.
So I would hope that if they would get a tower for free, that they would say, you're welcome to our tower anytime you need it, automatic aid, and then we could take ours out of service. I mean,
Makes sense.
I'll
And the
go,
cost
that's
of
very
what's-
hypothetical, but if that's the case, and they're willing to do that, and we're willing to get, the ISO rating to 5 miles around, let them run, let them take the ball for a little while. I mean,
Really?
What's the
would-
cost of a new one now?
$1 million. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
It's
So
absolutely
if
crazy.
either, if they don't get one, we have to come back to,
No, I'm not looking at my watch for that reason, I'm just
we
trying to
have to
check.
come back to, we talk long and hard about the district or equipment within a district between Sycamore, Northwood Center, Northwood Village. When you're talking $1 million, maybe that's something, I know they don't want to it wasn't they didn't want to, you were the big proponent of it, and we all were trying to see how to do it, cause economically it makes sense. Because we're not that giant of square miles, but it may be time to again go back to the table and say, this is something the entire community needs in Nordonia Hills.
Well, maybe politically, that, you know, you could reach out to them for the tower rather than me just going to the chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I
when
know,
we get to
we
that
started
point,
with the
maybe there's
chiefs.
something officially we wanna do, you know, officially with, like, we would like to sit down and talk about
Yeah,
this.
I think Jesse would be open to discussion.
I would be, yeah, that would be the next level that you go up. I mean, I approached the chief and asked them, and the one told me no right out, and the other one, you know, didn't give me an answer. He said that would be up to the fire district. The fire district's a little different, because they have the trustees from the Sagamore,
Right.
trustees from Northville Center, so
Well,
it's a little different.
But they're all
governmental
local, and,
function.
you know, we all should be,
Hey, I'm
as
all
Jan is just
for that.
saying,
Always
we
been
have
all
common
for that.
interest here. Let me ask about the antenna that they were looking for. I know that Ryan had been asking for Verizon to allow us to put that antenna up here so we could communicate with the rec center in a more efficient manner. Do you know if that, you don't have to answer now, just email us.
$8,500.
Uh-huh,
I have.
right.
Yeah, it's quite difficult anytime you put your ads up to the tower, because you need an engineering study to make sure the tower can withstand extra weight on it and everything like that. So
Yes,
maybe
sir.
that's where that's coming from. I've been involved, Brian handles our communications, does a very
Right,
good
I just
job,
would like an
so.
update. I know he thought they were getting very close about
Well,
5 months ago.
he has it that it'll save the city $1,400 a month for a cost of
Right.
85.
Yeah,
8,500.
yeah, and that is incredible payback, believe me, $1,400 a month on an $8,500 item, you know, that, basically, they can give it a T1.
We
And they
should.
can,
We're mentioning the truck for next year, we do that now, it's gonna save how much money it pays for.
I don't know what the exact cost would be.
Actually, I was just gonna bring it up tonight, or we can move on it immediately. Everything is all in place. So I was gonna ask you tonight, because actually we don't have to ask councilmatic permission for that.
no, well, I think it's already been allocated. I think the dollar number was lower when we originally expected, but
No, that's the same.
then it's not a problem then, because when I was talking to him, he wasn't looking for money, he was looking to get Verizon to respond. So that could be where
And
we're
what are
at,
we
if you
adding to
get
the
an
tower?
update.
Whose is it? What are we adding?
We're adding an antenna,
Pardon me?
that'll connect us to the rec center.
Okay.
Rather than the hardwire.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we have a T1 line, which is where
You,
the
chief.
$1,400 a month is coming from.
You know,
Okay.
anything that's dependent on other departments, like I say, I approached them. I didn't get any feedback on the trailer, so I'm hoping that that'll be something that they'll be willing to do. If it doesn't, with me meeting with the chiefs, then we'll step up to the level.
Right,
You
but I
can
think it's
approach
best,
council officially and send them a letter saying, you know, that we would like to do this, and let them.
let's see whether the chiefs are amenable.
Yeah,
And if the chiefs are pro, then we can still take it to the next level by just making that formal, you know,
I
saying
think you
we've
should,
had a
yeah.
conversation.
Absolutely.
Are we on the NJPA, National Joint Purchasing Agreement?
I don't know.
You know if we're on the NJPA, something we ought to look into.
Uh-huh.
Things like that, you get at a fraction of the cost.
Really?
Well, that would always be better at $1 million.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
state bid,
it goes
we go
far
through this
beyond that
state-
trailer, it goes across the board for many different
Is it
things.
state bid, cheaper than state bid, state bid?
Oh, yeah,
Because we have to go by state bid.
it's cheaper than that.
Cheaper than state
Oh, it
bid?
has to be cheaper than that.
National Joint Purchasing Agreement.
Very good.
That's very interesting.
And that can go across the boards, that's not just fire, I mean, that's
Yes.
a nice thing to have that saves a lot of money.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
Buying in bulk across the country.
I'm all in for that. We only need one, but.
Well, Tim, thank you, and I think we're good to go there, and I think what we'll do next, I had, the next item on here was service department. So, we're gonna go with the service department, come on up. We have all kinds of good stuff here, so let's start with your service department budget and your operating dollars. Let's see there. Of course, you've got many dollars in this stuff. 201, basically all the 201,
Lands and buildings.
all that crap, yes. Go ahead.
70.
All right, so do you have any actual areas where you want to see adjustments, or you have this is all the operating dollars now, not
I
the
just got this actually
Okay.
today, this
Okay.
one.
So we
And,
can,
I never did get to sit with Scott, so there's a lot of things we need to.
okay, so are you saying you've actually seen something you want to change?
Well, I'm checking on some of these as I was able to.
Mhm.
I noticed here for, our salaries and wages,
Mhm.
we only raised it like, $1,300, so I don't know if that'll make it through the year.
How much,
I'm at,
101,
201,
510.
5110.
Yeah.
how much
Two oh
time
one,
did you,
5110?
Yes.
how much time did you have a chance to look at this?
Pardon?
Have you had a chance to look at this? I don't want to put you on the spot,
I had
but you
about
would really like.
2 hours, actually, 2.5 hours to look at.
When did you get it?
I got it later this afternoon.
That was your first copy?
This one, yes. I had another one that they had given me, but it didn't have all this in it.
Did you get a
There
new
were
one?
things missing.
Angela did get a new one. Did you
But
get
I
a
was
new one?
able to, look over a lot, certain things caught my eye,
Okay.
like this, is only $1,300 difference.
1,300
And there's
difference.
actually,
I
half of
see.
Dino's wages come out of that line.
Mhm.
Sharon's full-time wages come out of that line.
So you would like us to verify?
Yeah,
that?
I'd like to be able to go over what, cause I know there's salary increases.
Okay, well, why don't you go through then,
And
and
which line item is that?
101, 201, 510 is what he was,
5110.
5110. And we're just talking, the operating dollars here.
Mhm.
And there's a whole series of part-time, overtime, et cetera.
Service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what.
the part-time service here is actually Laura.
Yes, I know,
Oh,
this
okay.
is just your administrative arm
Right.
here. That's
Could
what's,
we, is the Xerox on?
Pardon?
Is there Xerox on?
I will,
She didn't get a new one,
I
he didn't
doubt
get a
it.
new one, so we're gonna be talking apples and oranges here if they don't have in hand the newest document.
well, I don't know which document you have, Mike, you should have had, do you have draft 2 or not?
We're not dated.
No, I don't think it's,
When did you get it?
well, this one I got from Scott whenever he sent this out originally.
Okay,
When
Okay.
did you get yours?
let me see
So,
which one you've got here.
Yeah, this was given to
Tuesday
me
night?
by,
Tuesday?
Diana?
Yes,
Okay.
just a little, like I said,
Is
about
it
2.5
dated?
hours ago. Okay.
Okay, so you would like us to review?
Yeah, I would like to at least go over what
Okay.
our wages are, everybody together, and make sure
Alright.
that there's enough in that.
Okay, so you're going to speak to this then via
Mhm.
email then after
Right.
you've done a complete review,
Sure.
all right? That's fine.
There should be plenty in a part-time salary for Laura.
Yes,
looked at
I
it and
agree.
was able to figure that out.
Yes, there is, I can tell.
Then we
Is this
keep going.
only the streets, Jim?
Pardon?
Only the streets?
This
Yes,
is the administrative.
So you.
that's the administrative part, too.
Okay,
Yeah.
the 201 is just, I'm thinking of where is your money that, because we split this apart so much. Where's the money that does that?
I'm actually in
Field
3
work?
different areas. There's a sign shop, then there's a mechanics shop, and then there's service, and then there's parks. So I have like 4 different areas.
Okay, so let's speak to the other areas.
Okay. I went, looking at my last
311.
year's. Yeah, 311. This is the street lighting.
Yes, right.
I went according to last year's, and this falls in line with what I had
Okay,
last year, so it looked pretty good.
that looks fine.
Yeah,
And you
and the
feel
senior
comfortable?
programs look good too, because we raised it from 11.5, we raised it to 12.5.
Right, okay,
Okay, and you all know what the new rate is.
I do.
And we made it, okay? Then we go over in 317 is my first area for stormwater,
yeah.
kept it at 25,000.
Okay.
Okay, from last year, that's what you had given me, 25,000.
And we're not adjusting that at this time?
Not at this time, but just so everybody is aware, I'm not done with my
Well,
stormwater yet.
in
Yeah.
capital, you requested 140,000, so.
That's
Yeah.
one generic question, because I apologize, I had personal plans last
Mm-hmm.
night. Did Scott bump up the wages for every wage by percent?
The wages by 5% or the?
No, by a percent, because when I look at
Oh, yes,
last year's, what was it he used?
2% is
Two
gonna be
percentage.
the
2%
salary
on the
change.
wages and 2% on the pension?
Yeah, that would be, both would have to be bumped, and the, there were some minor changes because there were additional merit raises that were given, but those are not in a large majority of the people. So that would be a relatively small adjustment, and.
Can we get an addendum of those changes, like in one sheet, just so we can kind of plug it in and see where we're at?
Addendum of,
All the changes that were changed from last night to what we have here today?
well, there's no changes from last night.
I'm talking across the board, of what you're saying, you said there were some small changes.
Well,
Yes,
that's
but-
because the mayor gave merit raises, and the mayor, and then, so we
Yes,
asked them
those were
last
merit
night
raises
to
given
make
by the
copies
mayor.
for us, so they're not here.
So that's
And he
the
was-
only change?
He was
Yeah,
going
that's
to
what
be
they-
giving us that.
Right.
Was
I'm
that-
just saying
isn't
it's
that what we
about
told him to give us
$12,000.
last
Okay.
night? Whatever the changes were, it was like 12 to 13 employees that got merit raises. So we don't know what that merit raises are.
The general calculation was already built into this, you know, because we do have across the board 2%.
Mhm.
And there, and Betsy has indicated that we have a 5% bump now on the medical that we're looking at.
So was that put in the numbers that are in the book, or is that?
I do,
gonna come?
no, they were not, because this is just new information that came out.
From
you know, that's-
from the note she sent out, so we're gonna bump
Yeah, we're gonna bump
5%,
medical,
health benefits, right?
right?
And 2% on pension, or whatever, employee's pension, 2% on salary,
Yeah, that's done.
That's already been done.
right?
That's done.
And then the other question is, were there any generic additions of humans adding employees to this document between Tuesday, or in Tuesday's document actually, or was it just a 2% across the board, took last year's budget and added 2?
Yeah, last year's budget made the adjustment.
So,
And,
okay.
you know, there are changes also that occur because, like Tim said earlier, he was moving away from overtime to some part-time people, bringing them in. So that adjusted the part-time number somewhat. So these are changes which we can clarify and make sure everything is good to go. We do have that new medical number from Betsy. It sounded actually not bad, because a number of these types of medical coverage groups are going 20 to 30% higher. So we had a very lucky contract there, for sure.
What's good, Jim?
Okay, that, the overtime, we brought it back up to 80,000, because last winter was so bad, we spent that kind of money. So this year, what I'm going to do is I'm going into a shift. I'm gonna have a night shift.
Okay.
According to last year's figures, if working nights would have saved us almost 30,000. But
Okay.
that was a bad winter though.
Yeah, it's a particularly bad.
A few years prior to that, I think we saved like 14,000. So whatever savings we can get in the
Somewhere
overtime-
between 14 and 30,
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
just,
likely.
what it's gonna be is just however the winter turns out for.
I
Understood.
think you didn't talk about the fact that even with the night shift, if it doesn't snow, there are things for this person to do. You're not
Yes.
just gonna be
I
sitting
can
around.
maintain my trucks a lot better.
Right.
They can change blades. We could do work in the building that needs a lot of attention. Yes, there are things they can
So
do.
it's like, yeah, so that's one of the things you always look at is creating another shift.
No, they're not just gonna
Because they're
sit
not
there
occupied.
and plow.
Because we just
They have
created
things
a
to
night
do.
shift, so.
One of the things that we did discuss last night regarding potential areas to contract out, we talked about it in the context of the mowing activities that occur throughout the summer. If that's a potential, because we do have, obviously, we have snow plowing that you've contracted because of the senior program.
Mhm.
And you have some other areas like asphalt where you've contracted
Yes.
because it makes sense.
Mhm.
One of the things we talked about as a potential area would be to look at the potential for going for bids for just across the board for maintaining our grass in the summer season. And then having your people work on the other areas where, you know, like you wanna have that park, you know, the rainwater park, and we wanna be doing more stormwater work, that kind of thing, where you folks have the expertise. So we wanted to have you think about that and look at what the potential numbers would be.
Yeah, the parks, I asked for more money, because my thought was to get, contractors to come in and do all the beds. Do all the beds at
Yes.
the rec center, at the.
Well, that sounds like it's
entrances,
in line with
all
what we're
those.
thinking.
And then increase my part-time help, where I could get more help in,
Mhm.
and then maintain these things. He increased the park's help considerably.
Yes.
He gave me another $12,000.
I know, I know, and we were talking, just a general discussion about what are the areas where we can have an opportunity to have, basically, when you mow, it's not a big skill relative to like digging holes and putting those pipes in and so forth, so,
But I thought about that a lot, especially about Memorial.
yes.
Because Memorial should, I
It's
have,
bad,
I would like to get the gazebo completely rebuilt.
right. There's a number of things
There's a
about
lot of
it.
things you could do in the canyon also.
And
I have
appearance of-
prices.
yeah.
Is this out of the park, because you're building apartments, which line item are we talking
No,
about?
I'm
And
sorry,
which one
we
doesn't impact
went
me?
away, I'm
I'd
just
rather
going
we
down the
finish the
line, let's
department
continue
before-
where I
yeah.
was at. All right,
Sorry.
the next is the,
But-
I don't know which one we're talking about anymore.
Well, we're not talking.
Too many departments, everybody.
yeah, I have a lot to cover, but, yeah, the overtime we'll take care of with
Okay.
shifts.
All right,
And is that in the streets department, or is that something?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the streets. It should be line item 350, 5120.
yeah, yes, correct.
I'm still
Hopefully we can
going on.
reduce
Do
that,
something.
Yeah, the overtime area is right, okay.
okay? The one question I had though is this tree replacement, that's,
Yeah, we have thought.
350, 5610.
Yes,
The problem we have here, we never did anything like that, and I have a lot of residents, who have trees and problems where the trees are dying on the tree line. We've cut a lot of them down, there's tree stumps, they're asking me all these questions, who's responsible for taking the tree stumps out? Who's responsible for replacing the trees?
okay.
We don't have anything in, you know, I can't answer them right now because, first of all, I don't have the money to replace any trees, and I don't have any money to do almost 200 stumps. They have to be ground.
Well, the ground, now how do we,
You got $500 in there.
Well, that's,
These.
this,
You got
this,
500 more than you had last year.
right,
well, these are things that we have to look at because,
Isn't
Well-
anything in the right of way our responsibility?
yeah, we're
So,
supposed to be
I
doing.
mean, really, the answer would be yes.
Yeah, I have situations where, this tree replacement, we're gonna have to seriously look at because like, Drees Homes,
yeah,
over there on Highland,
Right.
almost every one of the trees is dead. They never should have been planted there, as far as
the
I'm
trees
concerned.
that were
You should never,
planted,
yeah, you never should plant a tree on a 2-foot wide
well, there you go, right?
grass,
Yes.
okay? Me personally, I would rather see nothing than put a tree there.
Right,
No,
A
we
dead
have-
tree
We
particularly,
have
yes.
nothing but, so now we're gonna have to go back, take all those trees out, and I have to repair everybody's tree lawn.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna suggest to you,
Mhm.
because I know that there is a regular tree plan and so forth. What we need to do is, we need to see, what you would, perhaps this would be an area to contract, to get the stump grinding and
Mhm.
all that stuff, that's special
Right,
equipment,
yeah,
right?
we can't do that.
Right, so maybe there is a process here where we ask for quotes, and like you did on this other area, and you can find then, we have X number of trees, we're responsible for restoring the tree lawn in some areas. We know we shouldn't even plant trees because they're gonna die anyway, that would be understood. Then, bring us an overall plan and a dollar amount, and then we can look at where that can fit into the whole plan, okay?
Okay.
So that would be an assignment for you to do that, and
Okay.
we would like to have feedback in the next 10 days or so on
Okay.
that, so just in a time frame. Okay,
Okay, now going
yeah,
further, where we should be going into, what's next? The market, getting lost here. For the mechanics,
Line item.
that's in the 354.
mhm,
Okay, he did increase, the line items, 354, 5440, and 5445.
Yeah.
There's, between the two, I have 95,000
mhm,
to
right,
cover our equipment. The bad thing is it takes only one major repair and I can go through quite a bit of money. So hopefully,
well, this can be adjusted if,
sure, during the year also.
if you have any history on this, Jim, you can look over I assume you have history of the last several years in this area, and why don't you just do a median on the
I think you need to look at the
history?
age of the vehicles too, because your history doesn't mean squat.
Well,
Your cars are aging.
It'll mean something, because we've had vehicles that go out every year, but let's get a medium number, and then
Okay.
let's look at this number and see if we need to add some safety areas,
So
okay?
far before, and I
Good.
know what POs are outstanding, you've already spent
I have.
53,000. So, and that's without, I don't know if those other POs were ever approved or paid. And I know we say it's okay if we don't put the money here, but then we got into, if he doesn't have the money, he can't get the vehicle fixed.
No,
Right.
So,
Well, that's
you
why
know, we've gotta make sure
I'll
we
go
have enough in
over
there.
everything, I'll go back, and then, I am putting in consideration about the equipment. I have one front end loader that's 20 years old. We just spent $7,200 on it, and prior to that, we spent $8. So, I mean, down the road, we're gonna have to start seriously looking at replacing this equipment, so. But at this point in time, I think
we
we can,
just manage the
Manage for-
maintenance of it, okay.
if
Well,
not, if something
This is-
happens, then I can always,
Is
go
this
back
every
to
piece
this.
of equipment in this line item? Snow plows, mowers,
Well, they have
no.
two
so it's
different
only
line
for
items.
These-
which one?
These two line items
These
for,
two.
is for all my equipment. That's my plow trucks, my pickup trucks, my backhoe, my loaders, my grade all. Everything comes out of those two line items.
Basically, at this time, about $95,000.
That's what I have, that's what you're gonna get. And during the year, if I see that I'm running into problems or I have a major breakdown, then I'm just gonna have to come back.
Is that,
and,
yeah,
we'll
I
have to
understand,
get my
I'd just like you to verify if
Okay.
you take a median the last
I
several
will.
years and see, and then we can see if that's a reasonable number or we need to
Okay.
bump it a little,
All right.
okay?
Mhm.
All right,
Okay, then, the next one for me is the sign shop,
okay.
okay? In one of the,
You wanna read out your number here so
Yes.
everybody's on the same page?
okay, I'm sorry, 355, 5110 is his salary and wages.
Mhm.
The overtime that comes out of the sign shop. I'm looking at his supplies and materials, he'll spend every dime of it.
Okay,
And the 30,900 will go because he's, he's replacing every sign in the city.
he's
And that one would
replacing
be-
every sign in the city?
Yes, there's 10,000 signs, I think he replaced,
Okay,
Is that
4,500.
because of retro reflectivity?
yeah, we have to change
Isn't
it.
that already supposed to be done?
No, by the
Really?
end of 2015,
Like,
and they're giving you like the little, they'll
do they
give
have
you
a, do they have a
leeway.
change?
Is he taking the courses for that?
Yes, trust me, and the mayor knows Ray, if you ask him about signs, he's gonna tell you, in fact, he fights us on it.
So it's your
Most
Some of
boring
the signs,
classes in the world.
right, yeah.
Is that 5620? Line
Uh,
5620?
Yes, the 355, 5620.
Right, you've already spent 27.
Yeah.